So this video is going to discuss the Moeller technique, and I'm going to show you 3 basic exercises on getting started with it. So first of all, click on the link below where you can download a free PDF which actually contains a handwritten note by Jim Chapin himself, and it has the 3 basic exercises for learning the Moeller technique. So I personally tried to learn the Moeller technique through YouTube, like I'm sure a lot of people have, and there are hundreds of videos that describe how to do it. But it really wasn't until I studied with 2 great teachers, Jacob Kai and Bruce Becker, that I really started to, get a proper control over it. You can really get started with YouTube, so it's a great way to sort of understand the basics, but you'll probably hit a wall, which is what happened to me, so I really recommend studying with a good teacher. You can look up those guys, or I offer lessons as well. So the first exercise is the 3-note Moeller. So the 3-note Moeller is the first one that we learn because it contains the 3 strokes of the Moeller technique. So if you look at the PDF, you'll see that there's a downward facing triangle. The white one is for the right hand and the black one is for the left hand. So the downward facing triangle is the first motion. You can call it the downstroke or the whip, but it's the one where there's a big sort of whipping motion involved. And it's one that sort of starts the chain reaction of the Moeller technique. The second stroke is called the tap stroke because the tap stroke is really just a reaction from the downstroke. So it looks like this. After the whip, the stick kind of just falls down and taps, so you get kind of like a free stroke with that one. And then the third stroke, or the third triplet, is an upstroke. So after the tap, your stick is low, and then you just have to come up. And that kind of starts the whole chain reaction again. So those 3 notes are what make up the Moeller technique. You have the whip, the tap, and the upstroke. So I'm going to start slow, and I'm going to put it all together, and then I'll kind of gradually speed up. But it's important to just start with that slow process, because that's what's going to help you understand really what's involved, and once you master that, then you can gradually speed it up. Here we go. A really good exercise that I like to use for mastering that first basic exercise of the Moeller technique. So I'll put the metronome around 60 or 70, and then I'll do like 2 bars with my right hand, 2 bars with my left hand, and then I'll put them together. So that's a common thing that you'll see with the Moeller technique, is to have the 2 sticks together doing the motion at the same time. And I think why that's helpful is that the right hand is always a bit stronger than the left hand. So by putting them together, your left hand kind of mirrors what your right hand is doing, and they kind of equalize each other out. Okay, so that's the 3-note Moeller. Let's move on to the 4-note Moeller. So the 4-note Moeller is really just adding an extra tap stroke. So again, if you look at the PDF, you have the downward facing triangle for the whip, then the tap, and then you just throw in a second tap and an up. Okay, so whip, tap, tap, up, whip, tap, tap, up, whip, tap, tap, up. last exercise is the 2-note Moeller. Okay, so now that's probably the hardest one because there's less kind of just flow, and it's really just the whip or downstroke and an upstroke. So there's a bit more work, a bit more wrist involved. So that tends to be the hardest one to, at least to get up to speed. A great trick for learning the 2-note Moeller is to do this exercise. So this is just sort of a whip and a tap and then stopping there. And it looks like this. Okay, so now that you've got the basic Moeller exercises, I have two really great exercises to kind of put it all together. So the first one is going to be in 16th notes. Again, click on the link and you can look through the blog. There's going to be, what I'm about to play is going to be printed out so you can see exactly what it is. So in 16th notes, the first measure is going to be in 3/4. And so I'm actually going to be playing a 3-note Moeller, but in 16th notes. And so the measure needs to be in 3/4 for that to work. The second measure is going to be a 4-note Moeller in 16th notes. So that will go back into 4/4. And then the last measure will be a 2-note Moeller. So that will also be in 4/4. And I'm just going to move through that sequence. So I usually do about 2 of each measure. For this exercise, I'll put the metronome at about 50 to 55, and I'm going to count the 16th notes. So I'll always be counting the 1, E, and A while I play, and I'll be shifting between the 3 different exercises. 1, E, and A, 2, E, and A, 3, E, and A, 1, E, and A, 2, E, and A, 3, E, 1, E, and A, 2, E, and A, 3, E, and A, 4, 1, E, and A, 2, 3, 4, 1, E, and A, 2, E, and A, 3, E, and A, 4, E, and A, 1, E, and A, 2, E, and A, 3, E, and A, 4, E, and A, 1. Yeah, so that's a great exercise to kind of flow through the 3 basic exercises of the Moeller technique. Okay, so the next way to put it all together is to do it in triplets. So we'll start with the 3-note Moeller because that fits perfectly in triplets. Then we'll move on to the 2-note Moeller, and then lastly the 4-note Moeller, but counting it in triplets. So this is what it sounds like. It'll be a little bit faster because I have less notes, so I can speed it up a bit in this basic exercise. So I like to do it around 70 or so. 1 and lead 2 and lead 3 and lead 4 and lead 1 and lead 2 and lead 3 and lead 4. 1 and lead 2 and lead 3 and lead 4 and lead 1 and lead 2 and lead 3 and lead 4 and lead 1 and lead 2 and lead 3 and lead 4 and lead 1 and lead 2 and lead 3 lead 4 and lead 1 and lead 2 and lead 3 and lead 4 and lead 1 and lead 2 and lead 3 and lead 4 and lead 1 and lead 2 and lead 3 and lead 4 and lead 1 and lead 3 and lead 4 and lead 1 and lead 2 and lead 3 and lead 4 and lead 1 and lead 2 and lead 3 and lead 4 and lead 1 and lead 2 and lead 3 and lead 4 and lead 1 and lead 2 and lead 3 and lead 4 and lead 2 and lead 3 and lead 4 and lead 1 and lead 2 and lead 3 and lead 4 and lead 1 and lead 2 and lead 3 and lead 4 and lead 1 and lead 2, 3 and lead 4 and lead 1. Alright, so I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe And if you'd like to know more about my teaching, you can go on my website, click on the link, and you can find my profile. It should be in the blog. So hope to see you again. Cheers.